All right, everybody, what's going on? Today we got a very special collab that we're all doing. Today we have Ross in the clutch here. We
What
have
up? What
Mo
up?
Rated in Wrestling, your boy Narcolepsy Boy 94, depending on what YouTube channel you're watching on. It's going to be posted on everybody's channel. Today we thought we'd do something fun as far as a collab. We're going to be doing a top 10 list of the best superstars in wrestling of the last decade from 2014 until now. We're going to do a list as Mo will have in here. We'll have the big list right underneath us as we do our intros and stuff. It's going to be in order. We're doing men and women combined as well, so it's going to make it a lot harder. Obviously, not everybody's going to agree with this. People who watch, some people are going to hate it, some people may agree. Just based off, who we feel belongs on here, and everybody's going to have the receipts back it up. So it's not just WWE, it's all of wrestling too, depending on what everybody watches. So you might see some AEW in here. You might see some New Japan, some TNA. You might see a mixture of different people in here. So, as always, please make sure to subscribe, like, share if you're watching on my channel, Narcolepsy Boy 94. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and turn on notifications to be updated with all wrestling content on this platform, and to be updated when we go live every Sunday 5 p.m. for the No Name Wrestling Podcast, who Mo was a part of. Ross has also been on that show as well. So be on the lookout for that. And then I'll allow the other guys to introduce themselves as well. And then we're going to dive into this list, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, y'all can subscribe to me at Rated M Wrestling on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Follow my personal IG at mo.magus and my Twitter at mo_magus. And yeah,
Great to be a part of this once again with y'all, man. On the last podcast I was with y'all with, and y'all cool group of dudes, man. Shout out to everyone that supported. For those who don't know, name is Ross, and if you haven't followed me on YouTube at Kicking It with Ross. On Instagram is Ross the Chosen One, and on Twitter is Ross is Clutch. So
it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
Mhm.
So
yes, sir.
we're going to do our top 10 greatest superstars of the last decade, men and women, different promotions. It's going to be very, very hard, and we're going to put them in order, which is going to make it a lot harder. Not everybody's going to make the cut for some people, so we apologize if we leave some people out here that y'all like or feel like should be on here. And y'all can let us know in the comments, man. If there's somebody that we leave off here, let us know in the comments who you believe should have been on here, who you would take off and replace with.
Mhm.
It's going to be just a matter of preferences and opinions when it comes down to it. Non-biased, of course. We're going to put our bias aside for people. We're going to come with the receipts for the people that we believe should be on here. So, all right, to start with the number one. So this is the number one person we believe should be at the top of the list, the top of the echelon of this list. I think we kind of got the same answer.
All right, well, I'm waiting to hear.
It should be Roman Reigns, if you ask me. Roman Reigns should be number one to me unanimously. So that should be number one to me. But you guys got a different answer?
I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree with Roman because here's my argument.
We're talking last decade though. Last decade
from 2014 to 2024. Now, I think we can all agree the decade started pretty rough.
Yeah,
it started pretty rough. But if you think about it, Roman Reigns within these last 4 years and over the decade has put himself in the conversation of being a top 10 WWE superstar of all time. I don't know if he can really make that case for anyone else.
Roman Reigns, the person, the gimmick was never bad because he's shown that once he was able to kind of get off that leash of the big dog and he turned himself into the tribal chief. Once he had the free layers to open up and do what he wanted to do, he never looked back, and the rest has been history. So the big dog Roman, I feel like they were trying to present him to be a way that just wasn't going to be received well by the audience. Like, we don't want him to be that. We don't want him to be another John Cena. We don't want him to be that type of guy.
Yep.
And then you talk about the last 4 years. Who has done what he has done from a storyline aspect? This dude checks off every single box. Because I think he's the greatest world champion WWE's ever had. He did it on a full-time and a part-time schedule. He checks off box when it comes to character work, when it comes to promo, match quality, shock value, storytelling, help bringing others within the storyline, the Sami Zayns, the Usos, the Solo Sikoas. He helped bring others along the way to help uplift them within the story as well. So I feel like Roman Reigns should be number one, but it seemed like you may have a different answer. So
I want to hear what Ross got for number one.
Here's the thing. Y'all make some good points. Y'all almost converted me. Y'all almost did. I agree to the points of his earlier booking, and he's even talked about it, how he really just kind of had to go with the flow because he didn't have that pull yet. So when they had him out there talking about suffering succotash, he knew that shit was awful, but he had to, because he still had to earn his way to get into that point of, I'm not doing this, Vince. So I get that. And and you got to take that with a grain of salt. Granted, even though that wasn't his fault in a lot of that, it still was one of those things where it was rough going with him main eventing those pay-per-views, main eventing WrestleMania over and over and over. And outside of the one he had, the first one he had with Brock, which I think that was 31, which was a really good one. Outside of that, the other main events, not memorable at all, to the point where people were booing him and Brock, because they were tired of it. We didn't want to see it. We're tired of the guy. So I think for that reason, he doesn't get the number one. For me, it's gonna be Bryan Danielson, bro.
See, I could definitely see why you say Danielson.
I'm going Bryan Danielson for the simple fact that not only was he not the guy, he wasn't supposed to be the guy. He was never slated to be the A+ player that he was. The fact that he was able to organically get over outside of the system of what WWE wanted and put on some great classic matches. He even had a good heel run, which honestly on paper, that the no stuff, the team hell no stuff, it wasn't, I don't think they had planned for it to get as over as it did. I think with Bryan, in a lot of situations, they put him in situations where he wasn't supposed to get over, and he still got over. And once again, he's the ultimate underdog babyface. And I think that's what resonated with me earlier in the years. Then, even his toward his end in WWE, he had some great matches. I love his match he had with Roman Reigns, and that's why Roman Reigns definitely deserves. When y'all started explaining it, I was like, y'all almost was getting me, because I can understand like why he would be number one. To me, it's like a 1A, 1B situation. You can interchange these, and for the simple fact that he took a chance. He went to AEW, and I do think they kind of mishandled his booking for sure during his AEW run. But he was still beloved, and the fact just seeing recently him 10 years later being at the top, he didn't even want the championship. Supposedly, that Tony Khan had to beg him to take the championship, and it reminded me why I had been a fan for so long. Just him overcoming the odds, being that good underdog, and he was allowed to kind of do a little bit more in AEW. And it's just dope to see that 10 years later, he's still on top of the wrestling world, in my humble opinion. So that's why I chose
one of the best. I feel like I can't put him there because I feel like he didn't get to reach the peak with the run as the champion.
No, that's a good point.
When he won the championship at WrestleMania, he got hurt not too long after that. Then had to give it up, and he was gone for the whole year. Then he came back. He won the IC title, and then had to give that up afterwards because he got hurt. Then he retired, came back, and then he had the heel run as champion. But by the time he got to be the champion again, time had passed, and other people were coming up, like the Kofi Manias or something like that. So
you're right. That's fair.
I can see you not putting him at one, but I think he's a top 3 lock. Because if we think of some
top 3,
I think he's a top 3 lock.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's top 3 lock.
If you look at some of the greatest comebacks,
no, we got some other names we got to name too, though.
Yeah, for sure. But if you think of some of the greatest comebacks in wrestling history, I think Shawn Michaels would be at number 1, and I think right under that would be Bryan Danielson. Like when I think about like the best comebacks, I'm talking about like what he's done since he's came back. Since he's came back, it's been, even especially in AEW, if we're talking about his in-ring work, he's probably put on some of the best matches now.
His match with MJF still.
Bro, people were coming at me when I posted a video right after the Swerve match. I was like, Bryan Danielson could still be the best in the world. Like right now, he can still be the best. And people were going crazy. Like, no, wait, I'm like, are y'all tripping?
It's him or Gunther.
Y'all not watch this man wrestle, or am I just crazy?
I will concede, because I understand. It makes sense. I think it would be a different conversation if he didn't have to retire and we could have seen that run and how that would have been. Then we could, revisit that. But outside of that, Roman Reigns has been the most steady champion that we've had. And these last 4 years truly shows what we probably could have gotten and should have gotten under the Vince McMahon era. I think this was clear indications of what probably Roman wanted to do, but he couldn't do. So I'm okay with that. I can agree. I'm not one of those people like, no, I can't. No, there's no way. Nah, it makes sense. I can agree.
Roman Reigns number 1?
We can put Roman Reigns number 1.
Okay, great.
Now y'all throw out Bryan Danielson, so we can talk about that. There's some other names that I do want to throw out there because I mean,
I do want to say one thing
great.
real quick. Real quick. On
Uh-huh.
this list, I think locks should be the entirety of the Shield. They're all three of them are locks for this list, in my opinion.
All three? Okay.
They've
Seth
ran
Rollins,
the
I will
industry.
put-
They've ran the industry for the last decade.
That's a
Okay,
fair.
so
That's a fair
throw out
one.
the Shield.
He threw out the Shield and Daniel Bryan. He got to be on here. I'm sorry.
Bryan Danielson got to be on there
Oh,
too.
Bryan Danielson. Yeah, he got to.
When we talk about number 2, though, I mean, I don't know. For me, I feel like this man has a spot to be number 2 for me, and that's Kenny Omega, bro.
I was
Especially what he
gonna
done
throw
over
his
the last
name out
10
there.
years. You watch what he did in Japan, the matches he was having, bro. The reason to me he could have a spot for this is because he was one of the few people to make indie wrestling very popular. When people were talking about Bullet Club and stuff, they were talking about Kenny Omega. When they were talking about, New Japan, they were talking about Kenny Omega versus Okada matches. Kenny Omega versus this guy. Kenny Omega got so popular. Chris Jericho left WWE and went over to have a match with him in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that helped subscriptions, rise up for New Japan. Chris Jericho at that stage in his career not going to go over and just wrestle anybody. Kenny Omega had such a buzz. Chris Jericho said, "What's everybody talking about? This Kenny Omega. Let me check him out. Oh, I could do something with that guy." Went over there and did something with him in New Japan in 2017. The title matches he's won, the G1 Classics, not to mention the run he had as AEW World Champion too.
Yep.
I mean, that run he has AEW World Champion, the
I
belt
mean,
collector,
He ran his body into the ground essentially.
Yeah.
TNA World Championship, AAA World Championship. I mean, and he's been able to do all this without even stepping foot in WWE too. Like
And
hasn't even
WWE
stepped
definitely
foot-
wanted him.
They
definitely
did.
hasn't even
wanted him.
stepped foot in WWE. So I don't know, man. Kenny Omega, bro.
Kenny Omega, I think, should be. I think our top 3 in whatever order should be Roman Reigns, Danielson, Omega, in whatever order.
So 1 and 2 is
We
locked.
didn't even talk about Okada yet either.
1 and
Okada's
2 is
another
locked.
one. Yeah, Kenny
1 and 2 is
and
locked.
Roman.
1 and 2 is
Yeah,
locked.
Kenny and Roman are both 1 and 2.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I mean, we didn't even talk about Okada.
Here's a name I'm gonna throw out there because this guy has done things that nobody can say. I'm throwing out Cody Rhodes. Now, the first 2 years, obviously he was doing the Stardust thing, so it's a little rough. But then after that, he leaves WWE, completely reinvents himself, makes himself a star, creates AEW, which helps the industry immensely. Then he comes back. He has a decent run in AEW, but then he comes back to WWE. And within the 2 years, imagine he didn't have the career beforehand. He didn't have any of those accomplishments, right? Imagine just these 2 years. What he's done within 2 years, there's not many people that could say that he's
We talked
could
about
say they've
Roman
done
Reigns
those things.
last.
Cody Rhodes became so popular, they booed The Rock.
Yeah.
Like they
That-
turned The Rock heel in 2024 because of one man.
See, that's why that's a good point you brought up too. That's why I always said Cody Rhodes has an aura to him now because people try to deny it, and it's mainly the Bloodline fans or the people who just hate Cody Rhodes.
They gonna clip this and they gonna send you.
Oh yeah, they're
I
gonna be
want
so
you to know.
they're gonna be
I
so
want
mad.
you
How
to know.
dare you say that Cody Rhodes is an aura? But you
That's
can't
what I
deny
got.
it. He's so popular in this era
Yeah,
with
he
the
is.
babyface gimmick that people usually hate.
If Cody
hate,
Rhodes was in the ruthless
despise.
aggression era, he'd be hated.
Oh, for
Bro,
sure.
John Cena was this type of babyface for years and got booed out of stadiums and buildings, bro. Cody Rhodes has been embraced. He has been beloved by the audience.
Mhm.
He's so popular. They picked The Rock over him, bro. I mean, they picked him over The Rock, bro. Like, can people fathom that, bro? Like, he's got the impact. He's got the importance. What he's been able to do, reinventing himself, turning himself into a main event guy. Because, like I said, this last 10 years, and we talk about at the beginning of 2014, Cody Rhodes wasn't a main. Nobody was talking about him as main eventing guys. One of the main event guys. Nobody was talking about Cody Rhodes.
Now he's a main eventer, bro. He's a main eventer, and he is a draw because the people will pay to see Cody Rhodes. As simple as that.
So number 3. Oh, you know what? Another superstar that has to be a lock. Honestly, he could be top 10. You gotta hear me out on this. I'm throwing out Gunther, bro.
Thank you. Yep, that was my next name on the list. Because
You gotta
within
remember,
just
we're talking about
5
last
years-
10. We're talking about last 10 years. He's done a lot through the indies.
He's definitely top 10.
But
for
I
sure.
got some stats here that y'all probably don't know about, and he could be a top 10, top 5 just for this. The last 5 years, he's only been in WWE since 2019.
Yep.
He's only lost a very handful of matches.
3, right?
Gunther, 73% of his time in WWE has been a champion, and he has a 93 win percentage in WWE
Yeah,
in the
he's
last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's in a 5-year span. He was NXT UK champion for 870 days, the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, and made himself the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, if you ask me.
Yep.
666 days as champion, king of the ring, and now he's the current world champion.
Yep.
He has a presence to him that nobody else has. His style is very old school, very different.
And it
He
works.
doesn't feel like every other superstar on the roster. Nobody
Yes.
else feels like him or compares to him. His
He's-
style, his uniqueness, his aura is completely different than everybody else's. His matches are insane. He has nothing but great matches.
I've
His
never seen
style
a
is
bad
very-
Gunther match.
I've
Never.
never seen.
I've
it.
never.
Never. Walter
seen-
Gunther, it doesn't even matter, bro. He's never had bad matches that I've seen, bro. So, not to mention his style is different. I feel like Gunther could be a lock on here. He has
Oh no, he's a
a
lot.
strong
Yeah,
resume.
for sure.
He's
For
a
sure.
lot, for sure.
I
Lock
want
someone
to
in
put
for three.
Brian, right? I could put Brian at 3.
I
We'll
think
put Brian
Daniels
at
is 3, bro. Not gonna
Three,
lie.
yeah.
We can put
Yeah.
Danielson at 3.
All right. So
Put
we
him
got
at 3.
Roman 1, Kenny 2, Danielson 3.
We talked about AJ Styles, Okada, somebody else that has
Okada
to be discussed.
should be in the top 5. I think
You know what?
Okada should
Honestly,
be.
bro, there's one woman that I'm gonna fight for to be on this top 5.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
Becky Lynch.
I agree completely.
Ooh.
I agree completely. No
If you
woman
think
is
about it,
as high.
She's the only woman in WWE history to say that she was the face of the entire company for a period of time. And to go from where she was, just like Roman Reigns, she was not hated, but she was mid card,
Yeah.
main event scene here and there, but was taken out of the main event scene here and there. Then after the man gimmick, bro, her popularity increased.
Skyrocketed.
high. It was crazy. The WrestleMania main event for women doesn't happen without the Becky Lynch character. First
Yeah.
ever women's WrestleMania main eventer and winner, double champ.
Yeah.
Everything she's done since then, Royal Rumble wins, the matches she's had with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair,
Mhm.
Charlotte. I mean, my gosh, bro, like Becky Lynch has been able to rise up so big, and she's one of the most impactful women superstars we've ever seen. And I think a lot of people want to discredit her because once she reached that peak and high, then they want to start to call her Becky Hogan and all this. And talk
Becky
about she don't put
Hogan,
people
she's
over.
cringe, all this crap. Yeah.
She has put people over countless of times throughout the year.
Yeah.
The last year or so, she had matches with Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, went down to NXT to help showcase that NXT Women's Championship. She put Rhea over WrestleMania, literally stuck around after WrestleMania.
Put
Still
Bianca
delivered.
over too. After she was forced to squash her at SummerSlam, she talked about it in her book how she's like, I'm gonna do you a solid, I'm gonna repay the favor, and she put her over. So if we're gonna do that, then what about Charlotte?
Yeah, I was gonna say Charlotte's another woman. we
Yeah,
gotta throw
Charlotte's
in.
in the conversation. Yeah, she's in the conversation. I mean, granted, people may not like her, but 14
She
World
has great
Championship-
matches. She has great matches.
If
I
you
can't
if you
deny
put
it.
anyone, if we talk about big match John in the women's division, that's Charlotte Flair.
yeah,
You put her in a
Charlotte,
big
yeah.
match,
She gonna
Money.
deliver.
money.
Big Charlotte Flair was the company chosen one, you know,
Yeah.
and rightfully so because she's great in her own right. She is spectacular. Charlotte could definitely make an argument for this list, but I would.
think
I
Becky's
understand with the Becky situation because, like you said, it happened organically. They once again, Vince and his Vinceisms. They tried to turn her heel, and it didn't work, bro.
Failed
It
miserably.
didn't work. She was trying to get the fans to turn on. They didn't give a damn. And once her nose got broken by Nia Jax, it was over. That
Yeah, that's what I try to
visual-
tell people. Like
That
moment
visual
pushed it over the edge, but she was already
That was
growing at that point.
over.
She
Yep.
was already
That was-
extremely popular before that, but then
That,
that
was
was
the
it.
Stone Cold passing out at WrestleMania to Bret Hart. He was a heel. He was the bad guy. But
Yeah.
it was just the imagery of him not giving up, and he passed out, the blood running down his face. The same thing here. Becky nose all fucked up, but the image of that, like, this is why we fucks with her. This is why she's the
She was
next
tough,
one.
bro. She was
She was
tough.
tough. And you didn't really see that too much with the women wrestlers. They wanted them to be kind of dainty, pretty. You know, they
Yeah.
were trying to
Now,
get
Becky
into
Lynch
that.
is standing on business. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah,
100%.
so she definitely deserves to be on this list. The question is
Where? Yeah.
Where?
Okay, so we got to talk about number 4. Who
Mhm.
y'all think we got? 3. Who y'all think?
You were
we got
saying
number 4?
AJ. You said AJ potentially. You said
Okada, Seth Rollins. Still
potentially.
got to talk about Seth Rollins. So,
I
yeah.
think Okada and Seth should be the next two.
Over AJ Styles though.
But
AJ
the
my
thing
thing
is,
with
with
AJ,
AJ,
the
is
5
the-
years, the last 5
the
years.
the last few years, it's been detrimental because they haven't. And it's not really his fault
No.
in per se. I think it's more so.
And what about Cody too, bro?
Oh yeah, and Cody. Oh man.
Fuck, this is tough. You
I
make
ain't gonna lie, we getting real nasty in here, man. We can get real nasty in here. I don't know. Cody Rhodes might be top 5. I'm not gonna lie. He might be a top
Should we
5.
go? Should
I
we
mean,
go Okada, Cody?
I'm not well versed with Okada, so I can't really speak on that. I'm not going to.
I know the New Japan. A lot of like the New Japan watchers.
No,
like,
Okada. Okay,
Okada,
it's basically like Okada in Japan was
ran
like
New
John Cena,
Japan.
bro.
Yeah, he
Okay,
ran New Japan.
I've heard
for
of his
a minute,
name plenty of times, and
No, yeah,
people
Okada.
talk about it.
I think
I've
Okada
seen
should be
some
4.
stuff.
I think it should be 4. So let's put Okada at 4.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
not mad at that. He ran New
Let's put-
Japan, and when I
Let's
was
write him down
watching
for
it for a
number
little
4. So
bit, he
yeah,
was
we'll
the
put
man.
Okada at 4.
Some of the greatest matches I've
That
ever
fifth
seen.
spot, I'm
And it
kind of
may-
leaning towards Cody. I'm
Cody-
not going to cap to you.
For me, it's
Yeah.
Cody or Seth.
I mean,
and I think
yeah.
Cody has the bigger impact.
yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm putting Becky over Seth.
What? The wife?
Ooh.
Damn. So we're going 4.
Let's be honest though,
Okada.
when they paired up against each other,
Who had the more-
we saw
had
who
more
people
aura?
like more.
Yeah.
We saw who had more aura. Bro, they put a T-shirt out for Seth Rollins said the man's man. Come on, bro. How he getting overshadowed by his girlfriend, bro? The man's man, bro.
You moved me.
Okada 4, 5. Cody.
I think that's fair.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I think number 6 gotta be Becky Lynch, bro. I'm fighting for Becky Lynch.
Over
She gotta be
Gunther?
number 6. Yes. Over Seth, over Gunther, bro. Her impact is too strong when it comes to women's wrestling.
Yeah,
When it comes to
But
general,
she
bro.
was the face.
She was the face of the company, bro.
She was
I'm gonna
It
give you that.
was during worst time in WWE in 2019. Bad year,
Ooh.
terrible year.
She was
Oh.
that when you really think about it, she really was the face. Like people was paying, she was the draw. People cared to see what she was doing more than all the other guys.
They cared about
why
her more than Roman Reigns, more
Yeah.
than Seth Rollins, more
Yeah.
than you can even say more than even the Fiend at the time, bro. Like the Fiend
Yeah,
character had
like
been new, but
her
Becky Lynch was the top.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. She
her
was the one.
rise was like 2018 to about WrestleMania 35 in 2019 was the peak of the women's division on the main roster that they've
Oh
that they've ever reached. Like I think we cared more about everything that was going on in the women's division compared to what was going on with the men.
10 years from now, we're gonna be talking about how impactful she was to the women's evolution, to the women's wrestling in WWE.
Mhm.
Like
Like Becky Lynch is a needle mover.
she was.
What I will say about Becky, like since she came back from her pregnancy, she was basically John Cena from 2015 forward.
Yeah.
That's what she did. She had her run. She was the man, I guess, and then she started to give it she started to give back basically.
Becky Lynch, bro, she makes stars too, bro. She helps make others, you know. So
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is a lock for me at number 6.
All right, we still got to figure
I
out where
agree
we're
with
gonna put Gunther and
Seth
AJ.
Rollins too. I feel like 7 and 8 gotta
Yeah.
be Seth and Gunther. We just gotta figure out where.
Are we
where
leaving
they go.
Moxley off the list?
Oh yeah,
Well, we still got more, but 7 and 8 gotta be Gunther and Seth. We just gotta figure out
All right.
where we gonna place.
I think Seth's impact has been bigger. Just a little bit.
at
Gunther
number
has done a
7,
lot
Gunther 8.
accomplish wise.
Yeah.
Accomplishment wise, Gunther's done a lot. But
Yeah.
Seth, like the Shield impact wise, they've ran the
Yeah.
Oh
industry.
yeah,
They've
great.
literally just ran the industry.
Yeah,
For the last
Seth,
decade.
I like that. Seth
I
at
can
7,
agree.
Gunther at 8.
I can agree with Seth definitely. He's been the workhorse since the Shield days, since after his heel run after the Shield, even though it was starting to waver a little bit at the beginning, it was great. The cash in at WrestleMania, heist of the century, one of the greatest ways to end a WrestleMania. It was a definitely dope moment. Him, overcoming the injuries that he's had and being able to reinvent himself as well, character wise, and he's still one of the most over individuals. And he was the MVP for WrestleMania 40.
He is
out there
literally the
wrestling.
Shawn Michaels of this generation. Like
Some people don't hate you for
when
that, but
you
I
think
agree.
about dependable,
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Him. He's the guy I want to build a company around. That's what Seth Rollins is.
I
So
just
we
had
got
somebody else
Gunther
in
at
mind.
8. We got
We
Gunther
got
locked
Gunther
in
at
8.
8. Yeah.
Ooh.
I can put Gunther at 8. Gunther at 8 is fine. Got 2 spots
But
left.
damn, what about we was just talking about AJ. We just
AJ,
talking about
Charlotte,
John
Mox. Y'all think Goldberg should be on here?
Fuck no. No. Keep this man away from any top 10 list like this, unless we talking about of all time and
Talking WCW.
yeah. But-
Shit. Greatest entrance, top 10 entrance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fire.
No, yeah.
Yeah, top 10
Without a
entrance.
doubt. Without a doubt, yeah. Are we gonna put AJ on here? Cause
Wouldn't.
man, it's a good-
I
it's a good
personally
list, too.
wouldn't.
I got another name to throw out there.
Mhm.
You said you wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
What?
If we talking about those first 5 years,
Yeah.
he's probably top 5. But if we talking about 2019
last
The
few
forward
years.
is a
first
lot
5
of
years, I
nothing.
think the first 5 years has been better than the last 5 years that has been bad though. Like, what do you
It
think?
hasn't been
TNA,
bad. It's just been
New
nothing.
Japan, the stuff he did in WWE. I can't leave AJ out the list. That's kind of crazy. So okay, it seems like the last three people we're debating on is Moxley, Styles, and Charlotte. Those have been the three names that have been thrown out there.
Because the thing is, even though some people are not, and recently I haven't been the biggest fan of Moxley's matches because I feel like they've kind of gotten redundant in a sense. Just I haven't been the biggest fan of them, but I will say I definitely appreciated the stuff that he was doing in WWE. Could his WWE run been much better? Probably should have been, and I think he plays a part into that too, especially with that whole interview he had with Stone Cold. You can kind of tell he was he wasn't where he needed to be, but you know, we also know that WWE, they were trying to contain all the crazy shit that he wanted to fucking do. But to say that he did leave and they tried to bury this nigga under the ground. He was feuding with Nia Jax. They had this nigga wearing a Bane mask. Like they had this nigga getting a shot, you know what I'm saying, you know, from up his ass. Pause. It was wild shit they were doing to this nigga, bro. Like they were doing everything to bury him, and he goes to AEW and he's an instant fucking star. I mean, a mega star. He has one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in wrestling. When he came out there through the crowd went crazy, and he was
when he debuted. When he debuted, I knew AEW was really like something to fully take serious.
Yeah,
and you mentioned, I mean, he's kind of been the face of AEW too. He's been like the backbone for them.
Yeah,
I mean, 3-time AEW World Champion.
Yeah,
had great runs as champion. The matches, he's been the backbone of AEW since.
And especially remember when we had the whole brawl out situation. They needed him, and he stepped up.
Yeah, they did.
Even before brawl out, when Punk broke his foot, like you said, he's the backbone of AEW.
If you had to pick one of those three, just pick one right now, and we'll come back to the other.
To be locked on the list?
Yeah, like you feel like this person has to be on here.
AJ, Charlotte, or
Mox.
I'm saying Mox.
What you saying? This is tough.
AJ Styles for me, bro.
Ooh. Oh man, no.
I gotta go with AJ Styles, man.
Oh man.
It's between, because I think for me, what dropped Moxley down, he would be outside. He's like edging outside of the top 10, only because when he did get the WWE run, it didn't go nowhere. It really didn't. It was one of the runs where, yeah, you remember when he won it, that whole Shield situation where all three of them were champions at one point at Money in the Bank. That was fucking crazy how he won it. But the interview with Stone Cold you kind of seen where his mental was, and it didn't seem like he was all the way there. And you know, the run didn't really work as well as I mean, they had this man over here feuding with fucking Ellsworth. Like, what the fuck was that? That was dumb. The joke got bad really quickly. And Charlotte's situation, it was just too many title reigns. Like they were patenting the stats.
Too many, bro.
And that kind of turned people off to her. Just like, damn, bro, didn't she recently come back, challenge Ronda, and didn't win or some shit?
Yeah,
win it right away. Like Charlotte
since 2015
she buried Asuka twice.
Charlotte since 2014. In the last 10 years has been a champion every year, at least once. Besides this year, and she's only been injured this year. That's the only reason she hasn't held one this year. I would say number 9 for me. I'm fighting for AJ Styles at number 9, bro. He got to be on here.
You know what?
Wait, so what was number 8?
Gunther.
Gunther's 8. All right, so yeah, AJ 9. Okay,
I'm moved.
I'm locked in with AJ 9. Bro. Even though the last few years haven't been the best, I mean, he still had a really great match with The Undertaker. That was one of the best WrestleMania COVID matches, that whole situation with The Undertaker. I thought that was great. That was a great way to send off The Undertaker. Yeah, that was a great way to send off The Undertaker. That was
perfect. Too, but like we talk about you split up those 5 years, I feel like it's kind of like the Roman Reigns situation. A lot of that good outweighs that bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like
those 5 years, bro. 2014 to what you can
Yeah,
say
most-
2018, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But nah, bro, AJ Styles going crazy, bro. So
And anytime, I mean, he had a great match with fucking Cody.
Two
That
of them.
first match,
Yeah.
that first match at Backlash, that shit was.
The I Quit match too.
Heat.
The I Quit match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
good.
no, he had some really good matches, bro. Like he can still produce like a great match. He can still give you a classic depending on the feud, the setting. He can still do that even at his age, and he's not missing a beat. You know what I'm saying? So
I
he
feel like if
definitely
you,
deserves to be on this.
I feel like
yeah.
even now, if you gave him the WWE title, it could work.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, no, fact.
All right, so now we got that last spot, gentlemen. We got one spot left. Who number 10, man? Who's number 10? We gotta make a vote. So what y'all feeling? What y'all feeling? Charlotte or Mike?
I'm kind of on the list. I'm kind of in agreement with Mo here. It's just all three members of the Shield. They deserve to be on here in a sense of just impact in wrestling as a whole.
Mox is also kind of
Me too.
in the Roman, the Becky category. Once he was able to get off that leash and
Yeah.
expand himself, he showed what he
Took
can
off
really
with it.
do. And
Mhm.
his style's a little bit different. Maybe it's a little bit more extreme, a little bit more hardcore, kind of more of the Mick Foley-esque. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very hardcore. He's very edgy. He's very violent. That's his type of style. And once he was able to branch outside of WWE, he's been a very vocal point in the wrestling world since 2019, the last 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'm rocking with Mox. I'm gonna go with Mox. I'm gonna give the
Yeah,
flowers.
and
to
he
Mox.
had some good, like I said, he had some good
There you
stuff in WWE. I'm not gonna sit up here and act
He
like
definitely
his
did.
WWE run was all trash. No, he had some good.
His
matches.
AEW run saved him though. It saved him.
Yeah. Oh, for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. If
For
it was just his WWE run, he wouldn't be on this list.
Yeah.
But
No, but the AEW run definitely saved him. So, all right, let's go down through the list again, man. See if we are locked in
So-
permanent.
at number 1, we have Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Number 2, Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Number 3, Bryan Danielson.
Love it.
Number 4, Kazuchika Okada.
Okay.
At number 5, we have Cody Rhodes.
Love it.
Number 6, Becky Lynch.
Respect it and love it.
Number 7, Seth Rollins.
Love it.
Number 8, Gunther.
Love it.
Number 9, AJ Styles.
Fucking love it.
And then number 10, John Moxley.
That's a solid top 10 right there. Honorable mentions. I'm gonna throw out Bailey, Sasha Banks.
For sure.
Got to throw out MJF as well.
Mhm.
Got to throw out Adam Cole, Bobby Lashley's a name I want to throw out there. Charlotte Flair, honorable
Mhm.
mentions. A
Mhm.
lot of those people could be in here, the top 10 over the last decade, because
Mhm.
everybody's peaks change and vary. But I mean, the 10 we named, it may not be in the particular order you want, and some of y'all may not even like the names we put on here. And that's fine. Everybody's gonna have their own perspective and opinions about certain shit, which is totally cool. But
Mhm.
I think it's hard to argue with that 10 right there, especially in that order, man. I mean, they've all done so much. We broke down their impact, we broke down their matches, their championship reigns, their goods and their bads, pros and cons. We pretty much broke down every aspect you could think of. So I feel like this is a solid 10. I don't see how anybody could go wrong with this 10.
Oh, there's someone's gonna find a way. What? Cody top 5? No
Yeah.
way! No
Oh, yeah,
way! You guys are Cody Glazers. I'm ready for it. I'm
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely good. Some of Roman Reigns
Probably
too.
gonna get
Roman Reigns
clipped.
number 1. What? If it was up to me, I'm putting Becky Lynch top 5.
Ooh.
He's top
Would
five.
you move Okada down or Cody down?
Right, Danielson.
What?
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
I wouldn't
I
put
think,
him
I,
down.
I, I think he's just. I feel like his impact is not. I feel like Becky just had the bigger impact, bro. She meant more.
What?
I mean, you look at it bar for bar promos. Becky can match him in promos. Character work can match in character work. And I feel like I said when it comes to impact, but she helped revolutionize a division, bro.
She did. But here's the thing. Danielson did the same thing because he proved that you don't have to be the stereotypical guy, big build. You don't have to be that to be over.
But to be fair, other people have proved that before him too, though. CM Punk did it before Bryan Danielson. They just didn't. They messed up his push. You know what I'm saying? They didn't.
And I get that, but bro, the thing is with CM Punk, they weren't burying this nigga on commentary. They kept calling this man a fucking goat on commentary religiously, and they let you know how they felt about him. They were outwardly saying, "We feel you're a B+ player at best." That wasn't no joke. That's how they felt. You got to take into consideration, this was WWE around the time where people were kind of getting tired of the product because of what we were seeing on a regular basis. It was
To make the same argument for Becky Lynch.
You can
Worst
say
year
that,
ever.
but how many times were you seeing people doing yes chants outside of wrestling? This was
Yeah.
happening.
No. It was big.
That's
It was
true.
big. I'm looking at it as Danielson had the big impact, but Becky Lynch meant more because she helped revolutionize a division that was dead for many people. Nobody was talking about women's wrestling like that. Women's wrestling used to be bra and panties matches, lingerie pillow fights. Becky Lynch helped transcend an entire division and was the face of the company. We're talking about a female who was the face of the WWE. That's unheard of, and especially in the era that we grew up in.
I get that. I totally agree, but I also, to counter that point, at the same time, this man was able, like you said, you know, people in the past have been able to get over that weren't the traditional what Vince wanted, but he was able to do it in a way I hadn't seen someone get that over outside of CM Punk, but to that extent since the Attitude Era, because it was everywhere he went. That's all you heard was yes chants. Everything he did, this man couldn't do nothing wrong, bro.
But I feel like it's bigger for Becky Lynch because it was for the women. It was unheard of. You wouldn't even imagine if you would have said 10 years ago when Daniel Bryan was having the yes movement that we would see women main eventing a WrestleMania and we would not only care about it, but it would feel big enough. Nobody was going, we haven't been talking about no women main eventing a WrestleMania. Like, who could possibly be big enough to main event a WrestleMania at that stage? People had done what Daniel Bryan had did before in that stage. People who weren't the chosen ones supposed to be at that stage, and some of them may not got to the popularity level that Bryan got to, and some of them might not even be as good wrestlers, you know what I'm saying, overall as Bryan Danielson, but we've seen that with the men before. You never saw it with the women. It was unheard of. She still to this day is the only woman that could be the face of the WWE. And I think people have to really put that into account. Not everybody can get the title of being the face of the company. We're talking about Hulk Hogan. We're talking about, Cena, Rock, Austin, Roman Reigns. Now, that was Becky Lynch for a year. She was the face of the whole company for a year. And she did it as a female and consistently did it until she lost the championship when she got pregnant. Bro, that's so unheard of. It might not ever be done again with the women.
I get it. Like I can agree to disagree with you on that one because you make some really good points for a woman to be able to do that, especially once again, old Vince being back there, despite him being back there and them actually doing that. I can understand.
If y'all had to do your top 5, how would y'all put it? I would do, for me, Roman Reigns. I would do Omega. Okada would be number 3 for me. Becky, and then Cody.
For me, it would be the list we have: Reigns, Kenny, Danielson, Okada, Cody.
I would do Reigns. I would definitely do Danielson. Danielson be number 2. Honestly, I probably would just move everybody else up, essentially. So the only thing that would really switch would be just the position of everybody else from 5 up. So I would just move I would move Danielson up. I would move Cody up. Kenny, like I said, the thing with him, I can appreciate what I was able to see afterwards, and some of the stuff I was able to see just online. I was like, okay. And I knew of him, even though I didn't even see any of his matches. I knew a lot of people was like, hey, Kenny is this guy. Kenny is this guy. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, who is this guy? And then once I started seeing the matches, I was like, you know what? Now I see why people are, making lists of who's really the number 1 wrestler in the world and all this other stuff. And now I can, so I would, out of respect of just what I've seen just off the AEW stuff and some of the stuff I've seen online, he definitely is in the top 5 as well. So
all right, so we all got our own opinions about this.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the people say. We'll see what everybody has to say about this. Should be an interesting topic.
This
If
is
you
good.
want to see more collabs or more lists like this in the future, let us know in the comment section. It could be about anything. It could be a top 10 GOATs, top 10 greatest superstars of all time. It could be a top 10 WrestleMania main event. It could be top 10 theme songs. Whatever you guys would prefer. We don't want to see. Let us know in the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to try to make something happen for y'all and collab again. So as always, make sure to subscribe. You'll see the socials on the page right here under everybody's name. So make sure you guys subscribe to everybody's socials right underneath. Fellas, it's been a pleasure. I think we've come up with a good list here. I don't think it's going to be I don't think people can argue with it, but people gonna find a way either way. So
They'll find a way. They'll find a way. They'll do it.
people gonna find a way to twist the narrative and twist the edge for it. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Yep, for sure. But this was good, man.
This is
Appreciate
great,
y'all,
man.
man.
Yes, sir.